Hello everybody, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy, usually online in the Adafruit Discord and GitHub and elsewhere online. Gonna try something out this morning. I've been kicking around some different ideas for video content related to CircuitPython. So I'm gonna do some library reviews this morning, and you can follow along or come along in the chat. And at the end of the video, if it turns out to be pretty good content that seems like it would be good for, people could get some benefit out of it after the fact, then I will leave the link up on YouTube as well for this video. Real quickly, this is my first time doing anything like this. Briefly, who am I again? Tim is my name. Foamy Guy is usually what I go by online. The Twitch, you can see this on Twitch right now. Hopefully, if I've got everything set up correctly, it's twitch.tv/foamyguy_Twitch. So somebody else had Foamy Guy on Twitch, so it's Foamy Guy_Twitch there. And then on YouTube, I actually have a different one as well because I had an old account there back when YouTube was split up. That one is Zabrambi on YouTube, but I'm going to try to get it figured out how I can use Foamy Guy there as well. But I've been working on CircuitPython now. I've been a member of the community and contributing to the libraries and things for a little over a year now. Before that, and ongoing as well, my background, traditionally my background comes from mobile development and PC development. So I've been programming for a long time. It's been my full-time career for a while. And, it's one of the things I like to do a lot with my time, obviously, so it makes a good career. And CircuitPython, I was drawn to it because I had played with Arduino and stuff before, but it's not quite as easy, right? The allure to CircuitPython for me is the quickness of the iterations and how easy it is to just test things out really quickly and see how they're going to work. And it served as a good kind of introduction to electronics and circuit making and stuff like that for me. So I've been diving in again for about a year, and this is one of the new things that I'm going to try getting into is video content for this. So again, real quick, in this video, I'll be working on reviewing a couple of different PRs. I got one of them showing up here on the screen now. And you can follow along, you can chat with me in the live broadcast chat is here on the Adafruit Discord, and there should be a link down at the bottom of the screen there for where you can find the chat if you happen to be watching this live and you want to say something or ask a question or anything like that. Feel free to do it in the live broadcast chat. So let's take a real quick high-level step back real fast. So I'm going to be working on something called CircuitPython. What is CircuitPython? It's a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers, and you can use it for electronics and programming and stuff like that. It's really good for learning programming and learning electronics, as well as prototyping things very quickly. So I'll switch the screen here, and this is a CircuitPython device. This is a PyPortal, Adafruit PyPortal device. So this is a little microcontroller. It has a touch screen on the front of it there. It's got some different sensors and things on the back. And this is one of the devices that's nice because it's got the screen built in, and you can do all sorts of stuff. It's also got internet connection, so it can connect to the Wi-Fi here and pull data. So right now it's showing the price of Bitcoin from sometime a little while ago, and that's one of the scripts that I'll be looking at when we are reviewing the PRs. Hey there, I think probably is that David? I need to get my chat windows organized here. Oh, Microdev. Hey Microdev, how's it going? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, that was CircuitPython. Oops. Thanks. Yeah, thank you for fixing up that YouTube link. I appreciate that. Here, let me edit my original post there. I must have got the wrong one in. Let me do copy link. 1 second here. Nice. Okay, save that. Cool. Thank you, Microdev. I appreciate you catching that for me. Okay, so CircuitPython, runs on these tiny computers. The financial support for CircuitPython is an open source project, but the financial support comes primarily from a company called Adafruit. So they make all kinds of electronics and neat toys and gadgets, and they pay a bunch of people, a couple of people, to work on CircuitPython and to work on all the software around it. So this particular video is not a paid endeavor, but they do pay me to work on guides and other software sometimes, and I definitely consider myself a big supporter of Adafruit. So if you like the kind of things that I'm working on in this video, and you want to see more of it from me or other people, definitely check out adafruit.com and consider purchasing hardware from there. Okay, so real briefly before we dive into the PRs, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the kind of format for this video. So this is obviously kind of like, rough draft 0.0.0. It can kind of evolve from here, but my rough idea for videos like this are going to be showing the process of reviewing, right? Because, we're always looking for more reviewers. So I figure if I can kind of demystify the process of reviewing, just show people, examples of, how I do it and what it's all about. It might help encourage people who are new to start reviewing, and that's always going to be good. So it will, this stream in the video, it's kind of similar to Deep Dive, right? The one that Scott does on Fridays usually. But I will be primarily working on the Python level, so not diving into the core nearly as much, at least in the short term. So I'll be working on Python libraries and user code and things like that mostly. But I'm definitely interested in ideas. So if anybody has feedback or ideas on libraries that you'd like me to dive into, or particular PRs that you want to look at on video or anything like that, feel free to share. Again, on Discord is fine, or if you can reach me on Twitch or anywhere else is probably fine as well. So definitely reach out if you have ideas for how to improve this or different things that I can do in the future. And with that, I think we're ready to finally go ahead and jump into the reviews. So I have a browser pulled up here. I have a couple of different PRs that are set up that I'm going to look at today. And the first two of them kind of go together, and they are part of a recent effort to refactor the portal base and the PyPortal library. So Melissa's been working on this. It's a great effort to kind of reuse the code more efficiently. So we had a couple of these libraries. I think probably PyPortal was the first one, and it goes along with, again, that device that I've got queued up right here. This is a PyPortal device. So the library, the PyPortal library, helps you do things on that device much easier. So it takes care of a bunch of setup and things like that, and then you can just write, high-level code that takes advantage of all the different hardware that's on this device. It's also got a bunch of helper functions for reaching out to the internet and fetching data and pushing data even to the internet, like to Adafruit IO and different stuff like that. So recently there's been work going on to split that library up because, like I mentioned, I think probably the PyPortal was the first one, but as time went on, we got more and more devices that are kind of similar in nature to the PyPortal. So, Matrix Portal, MagTag, boy, there's a couple others at this point out there. There's a couple of different versions of the PyPortal as well, like Titano and the Pint one. So, a bunch of these, there's Blinka PyPortal. So there's a bunch of these different libraries that all kind of do very similar things. They help you fetch data from the internet and get it onto the screen typically. And then they also offer access to other hardware peripherals that happen to be on that particular device. And Melissa's been doing a bunch of great work to split that up and make better use of reusing the code in what's called the portal base library right here, so that all of those different device libraries can share the code that's in the portal base. So in particular, the PR we're looking at today is this one, PR number, where's it at? PR number 10. Whoa, got one thing I do have cats running around, and this one at this time is pretty rambunctious. So if you see me kind of freak out and look away, or if he jumps on my lap and I get startled with something, that's probably what's going on. If he settles down for a minute next to me here, I got a chair that he likes to sit in sometimes. if he settles down, we can put him on camera and you guys can say hi to him. But yes, this is a PR I'm working on right here, number 10 in the Portal Base library. So this one is all about a change to allow us to pass in secrets as a parameter instead of, most likely, I guess probably instead of the library just assuming that it wants to get imported from secrets.py. So one of the things with CircuitPython web-based projects, typically there will be a file called secrets.py on your device. So this is a CircuitPy drive. This is the CircuitPy drive for that PyPortal that was on the screen a moment ago. And one of the things that is often done in CircuitPython projects is when you need to have credentials for your network, or you need to have credentials for like online services or tokens or things like that, you can store them in this file here, secrets.py. You put it on the root of your directory, and then your script can import it from there. It can import a dictionary that's inside of there and use the values that are in there. And that's really nice because that way you don't want to check in, obviously, secret, private information like the password to your Wi-Fi or tokens to your online accounts or anything like that. You definitely don't want to check those into your repository. So that's the way that it is typically done in CircuitPython. It does kind of clash though, because the code, if we look in Portal Base here, we can see some of the code where it uses this. Let's see, I'm not entirely sure where it's going to be, probably network. Supervisor. Yeah, so in the code right here, you can see, let me scroll this up just a little bit as well and check. Pretty good, I think, at least in my preview. If, obviously in this type of stream, we're going to be looking at a lot of code, both on the browser here and in my editor. Find yourself watching this live and you notice that the code, it's really hard to see because it's too small, feel free to poke me in the live broadcast chat, again in the Adafruit Discord, and let me know that it's hard to see, and I'll try to resize it. I'll try to be cognizant of that and make it pretty big. But you can see the way that it imports secrets right here. So it says from secrets, import secrets, and the thing about this is that on CPython, on regular Python on the computer, there is actually also a thing called secrets, and it's a built-in module. So right here I'm in a Python interpreter. This is like the REPL. So CircuitPython has a REPL where you can go and execute Python code one line at a time. And CPython or regular Python on the PC has a very similar thing, and that's what I'm in right here. And what you'll see is like I can totally do this, import secrets, and that is an actual module that's built into regular CPython. So unfortunately, one of the things we have is that there's a bit of a naming collision right there. So we use secrets.py in CircuitPython, but anytime you're writing code for CPython, if you try to import that from secrets there, it's going to think that you're talking about the built-in module. It's not going to import, your own secrets. It's not going to have your Wi-Fi network and all of that stuff inside there. I think the module in CPython, it's used for generating secure strings and stuff. Like if you wanted to generate like one-time passwords and stuff like that. I believe that's what it's used for, the CPython one. So this PR is changing the portal base library so that it can have secrets passed in, because you can see in the code right here that it's importing secrets, and this is CircuitPython code. So it's expecting the secrets.py file. But if you wanted to be able to run this code like on, Blinka Display.io, which is possible, and that's another one of the PRs that we're going to look at after this that kind of goes along with it. If you want to be able to run this code in Blinka on like a Raspberry Pi or a PC or something like that, then you will need to work around this naming collision a little bit. And the way that Melissa has got it set up here that we can work around it is, of course, we have a try catch right here. So, try to import the secrets, if it doesn't work, if we get an import error, then it's going to say print that, you know, this is where the Wi-Fi secrets are supposed to go. Although it does look, at least right now, it looks like it is raising the error. So maybe this is part of the change where it would have to not raise the error right here or something like that. But I believe in the code that we're going to be reviewing, there will be a new argument here, probably inside of init, that's going to have a way for us to pass secrets as an argument instead of it just assuming that we want to import it like it is doing now. So let's jump back to the PR. And we're going to test this code out, but we're also going to just take a look at it in the files changed view right here. So, you know, two kind of main things that you can do when you're reviewing a PR is test the code. So if you have a device that it's for, this one is the portal base. So we could use like any of the devices that have one of those portal libraries, like the PyPortal or the MagTag or the Matrix portal. I'm going to use a PyPortal for this one. We could use any of those to test it out. And the other thing you can do is just look over the code and see if there's anything you know, that jumps out to you as, you know, possibly incorrect or needs to be you know, fixed or updated or something like that. So that's what we're going to do when we review this PR here. So I'll start with checking out the code first. We can see you know, again, I just clicked on this files change right here on the PR. That makes it nice and easy to see all the differences in the code. So this is a really great way when you're reviewing the code specifically to look at those differences. So you can see here we have a new parameter listed. This is in the doc strings right here. So these, it's not, you know, obviously it's not the actual code, but it's a comment that tells the IDE and other probably automated systems, it tells them information about the code. So in this case, it's listing out all the different variables, all the different arguments that you can pass when you instantiate this object. So we can see here Melissa's added a new one called secrets data. It's an optional list in place of the data contained in the secrets.py file. And right here inside of init, we can see so it looks like a few things happened. For one thing, it squashed a bunch of these. They used to be on a bunch of different lines and it squashed them all together. So one of the other things that's been going on right now is they've updated, I think, to the newest version of Black or pre-commit or something. One of the tools that gets run on the code, or I'll say one of the tools that gets enforced by the CI to make sure that it gets run on the code. I think it got updated recently, and so this is probably a change that came from that. So it took all of these from different lines, put them on one line, but the actual real change that we're looking at here, you can see right at the end of that list is this secrets data equals none right there. Took out a blank line, that's fine. So down here, we are inside of init, I think still, yeah, def init, we're still inside of init, and it says if the secrets data is none, if the secrets data is not none, then we want to set this, I guess this is maybe a property. I'm not 100% sure if it's technically a property, but it's a variable that's on this object, and it certainly behaves a lot like a property. If you happen to know, if you're watching along, if that's technically a property or not, because it doesn't have like the @property decorator or anything like that. So I don't know if you need that technically though to be a property, but it's a variable nonetheless, and it's going to work a lot like a property. The rest of this file will be able to access this variable self.secrets, self._secrets there. So if it's not none, we want to, if our dictionary, if the one that we passed into the arguments, if that's not none, then we want to set it into this _secrets. Else, if it was none, then it's just going to be equal to secrets with nothing else, which is going to be the one that got imported. If we view this whole file instead of the differences, the one that gets imported up here from secrets import secrets, that would be what it's getting set to in the else block right here, is that secrets. So if we do pass in a dictionary, then use the dictionary. If we don't pass in a dictionary, and therefore it's none, then use the import from secrets.py. So continuing down, we have some code here inside get local time. So let's see. Let me just take a quick peek back at the chat here. Okay. You know what? Let me also check Twitch chat. Oh, hey there, Hugo. Hey, how's it going, Hugo? I see you there. Try to keep up with the different chats here. Again, this is my first time doing anything like this, so forgive me if I'm not all the way on top of everything for sure. So inside get local time, we used to just grab secrets, not self.secrets. So we used to just grab the one that was imported. And in the new code, so the way this works, again, I'm trying to target this, for people who might be new to reviewing. So if you've already been reviewing, then you probably understand all this stuff already. But forgive me if you will while I go through some of it just for the new folks. So the way that this GitHub view right here works is anything in red, anything highlighted in red is getting removed with this PR, and anything highlighted in green is getting added in the PR. And then it tries to highlight the sections that actually change. So you can see here, this one is like extra highlighted where it says secrets, and then this one down here is kind of extra highlighted. And so that's showing us that these two lines changed, and then specifically this part right here is the thing that actually changed inside the line. So we used to just get secrets without a self dot or anything like that, and now we have self dot underscore secrets. So we are pulling it. We're pulling these two variables, which are AIO for that's Adafruit IO, username and key. We're pulling those two variables out of that secrets dictionary here. So that looks good because now with the new code, we want to pull those out of self.underscore secrets. That way it will get whichever one the user specified. Got another one here. This is still in get local time, and it's getting the time zone, which is also another thing that gets stored in the secrets file. So that's looking good to me. This one is in def connect. So these these breakpoints right here, these tell you what part of the code you're working in, and they have these arrows here where you can click and expand because it tries to just show you the parts of the file that actually have changes. But if you want to look at more of the file to get more context, you can click on these things here and it will open up these different sections. So you can do it that way. I tend to do, like you might have seen what I did a little bit ago. I tend to just open a different tab here that is the actual full file. And you can do that by clicking on these three dots over here on the far right, and that's on the header of the file. So when you're reviewing a PR, if there are multiple files that got edited, in this case only one file got edited, so there's only one of these like fold out header things here. But if there was multiple files that got edited, then there would be extra of these different foldouts here, and they would each be for different files. So when you want to view a particular file, you can click on these three dots here and go to view file there. And that's usually what I do instead of using those foldouts. Let's see, Hugo says, I bet it's not a property, just a local variable to keep secrets from being exposed to outside callers. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's definitely the underscore in particular. I know the underscore in front of the name there is like a convention, a naming convention that is basically telling you that it's supposed to be private. Although I think in Python, and then I guess by virtue of that, CircuitPython, there's no real enforcement of that. So my background coming from mobile development, so I did mostly Java, and in Java they force you to have scopes. You have like everything has to be public or private or protected. And in Python, it's kind of like Wild West, but they adopted this underscore to mean private. But I don't think it's enforced anywhere. You can actually just access it, even though it's supposed to be private. Okay, so yep, that's how you view the file. Let's see where we were at down here. We were inside of connect, and this used to be, of course, same kind of thing we're seeing here. So one thing we could point out with this one that's a little bit different is you see there's no extra highlighting, right? So like these were extra red and this one was extra green to show you the specific part of the line that changed. In this one, it wasn't able to figure it out. So probably because of the way that it got split into multiple lines or something like that, it made GitHub a little bit confused and it wasn't sure exactly what the part was that changed. Or maybe it thinks that the whole thing changed and therefore it didn't do the highlighting like it did on the others. But we can give it a look over and we can see basically the same stuff is going on here. We used to be accessing secrets like this with no self dot or underscore or anything like that. And now in the new code, the green part, we're accessing it with self dot underscore secrets. And the things we're getting are the SSID and the password. And then specifically, I guess in this check right here, we're checking to see if it's default or blank or whatever. If you had it set to change me right here, then this would tell you to update your secrets file. So one thing, I guess maybe one very minor thing that we might want to do is consider changing the language, consider changing the verbiage here. So instead of referring to this as the secrets.py file, maybe be more generic, since now we can have a secrets dictionary that got passed in and it might not come from that file. I'm not sure if that's that big of a deal or not. I'll leave it for now. We can always come back and change it, or I can add that comment at the end if I think it over a little more and decide on that. Or if anybody has thoughts on that who happens to be watching live, definitely throw them in the chat for me. It might be worth keeping it as secrets file, I guess, because the most basic users are probably going to be using the secrets file. So the more advanced users might be the ones passing in secrets, and they're going to maybe understand the difference better. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good reason not to change it or not, but let's see. Still inside of connect here. This is doing the actual connecting. So same changes. Used to call secrets with no self or anything. Now it's got self._ secrets. SSID password, that looks good. Inside of this function down here, get IO client, it is fetching again the AIO, Adafruit.io username and password, or username and key, I guess. It might not be a password. I think they have tokens instead of a password possibly. But it's fetching those things, and that looks fine to me. Looks like pretty much the same changes we've seen throughout the file. So everything looks pretty good. There is another instance down here of referring to it as secrets.py. So if we did want to unify the language, or I guess maybe not unify is not the right word, but if we did want to abstract it some to make it less specific and a little bit more generic, then this would be another spot where we could update that. Let's see here. Hugo says one option, leave out the file completely and just keep secrets, as long as it's mentioned in the guide or somewhere that secrets is secrets.py for the newcomers. Yeah, it definitely does. In all of the guides, there will be a page. Let's pull up the learn system. So in all the guides, there will be a page that shows how to set that up. Let's do the let's look at the Bitcoin one, because that's what I happen to have loaded up on the PyPortal, and that's what I'm going to use to test these PRs. This Internet Connect, pretty much every CircuitPython guide that deals with a device that's going to connect to the internet, it will have one page on the guide will be this Internet Connect page right here, and it will tell you all about the secrets file, how to set it up. Here's an example of what goes inside of it. So, hopefully I won't mess up and show my own secrets file. I'm going to try not to, but this gives you an idea of what things are inside of there, right? So it's just, it has a dictionary. So you name your dictionary secrets, or you could name it whatever you want really, but all of the standard code assumes that you named it secrets. It is a dictionary. We know it's a dictionary because of the curly brackets there. It is having keys and values. So the keys are on the left side, very brief, just primer on Python dictionaries in case if anybody's new to them. The keys are on the left side. So the key right here is SSID. The value in this example one is home SSID. The key here is password. The value is my password, so on and so forth. And then in your Python code, it's accessing these things out of the dictionary, just like we saw on this page. So like when we say secrets square brackets AIO username right here, or the same thing with the new style code self._secrets AIO username, it is fetching AIO username right out of this dictionary. So this one in particular doesn't have AIO in it. It has SSID, password, time zone, GitHub token, Hackaday token. But in mine and in any of them, if you're going to be doing anything with Adafruit.io, yeah, you would have AIO username and AIO token inside this file here. And this page explains how to get all of it set up. Yeah, definitely true about the price of Bitcoin. I remember I wrote a paper for like a capstone programming course in community college, and we got to like pick out a topic and write about whatever we wanted. I wrote a paper, and mine was about cryptocurrency, and at the time I bought 1 Bitcoin, and it was fairly expensive. I think it was like maybe $400 or $500 for it, but I bought just 1 Bitcoin for that, and I pieced it out. I learned a little bit about how to get your wallet set up and how to use it and all that stuff, and I ended up spending it on different things. And by the time that Bitcoin got insanely expensive, I had only a little bit left, but that little bit actually turned out to be still more than whatever I put in. So that's really cool. I'm interested in cryptocurrency generally, but I think it's too much people use it as some kind of like magical investment tool. It's really not that. It's a very interesting technology, blockchains and cryptocurrency, but a lot of people try to make it just a gambling game. Anyway, getting off track here. But let's bring it back to the rails here. So all this code looks pretty good. I don't see anything really that jumps out with the code. The only small thing, like I mentioned, is just maybe updating some of the verbiage to be a little bit more generic and say to not say file, basically, to just that way that it will work the same and it will mean the same thing whether or not the user passed in a dictionary or passed in a file. Okay, one person. Oh yeah, I've heard about one of the earliest transactions for Bitcoins, when somebody bought a pizza, they like paid somebody across the country to buy a pizza, and it's like it would have been an insane amount of money. Like in today's dollars, it would be millions and millions of dollars. Let's see what David says here. One thing that interests me in secrets is to have an alternate SSID and password, and have the connect library to give an alternative. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool too. It could be structured like, it could be structured like a list, I think, right? So if this is SSID, home SSID, instead maybe it could be, let me zoom this up too. Oh, I can't zoom this up. See if I can do it very quickly or not. If not, I'll just move on. But nope. Side panel, preferences, editor, font, and we got to be getting close here. 12. Use the system font. No. Here we go. Get nice and big. Okay. So yeah, you could have maybe a list like this, and then we could write all the code to, I guess, if we want to make it backwards compatible, I guess we will need to check if it's a list or a string, and if it's a string, then do the same thing we're doing today. If it's a list, then iterate through it. One of the complications, I guess, there'd have to be some kind of rule about how does it know when to try the next one. Does it just only try the next one if it fails to connect, that's probably the easiest way. Or if you wanted to get more sophisticated, maybe it could be like trying to do RSSI values or something, like try to, you know, find the strongest one. Like maybe it goes through the whole list, connects to each one, and like finds whichever one's best. I don't know. That's probably getting pretty far ahead of myself, but yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to have it check multiples there. Yeah, check for hidden ones that are not broadcast. That'd be cool as well. Don't have the smart Wi-Fi's that communicate many access points left and right with their own SSID, and normally when you don't see it in the scan, communicate with each other. I think David's saying just that they have, which actually I have this set up in my house as well, that they just have multiple access points, so like different Wi-Fi networks that are at different parts in your house. So if you have really nice routers, you can get or if you just feel like messing with the setup enough, you can get everything set up where when you go to your device and you look at the list of networks, you just have one network listed, but it's actually coming from different routers in different areas. But that's usually a more advanced thing to set up, and it is usually more expensive on the routers. So I am the other way. I think more like what David's saying, which is I just have multiple networks at my house that have different names. And so this would be really nice if this were a list and I could just put all the different networks in there. And that way, no matter which room I'm in, it would kind of figure out which one is the right one. Okay, so pretty much the code looks good here. Again, the one kind of like, if we wanted to nitpick very down into the weeds, the one thing we could maybe change is the verbiage in a couple of the strings. But let's test it out and then see how that's going, and then we'll decide if we want to leave like a change request for that, or if it's okay to leave for now, or how we want to do it. So let's test this out. And to test it out, I'm going to get a local copy of the code from this PR. So I probably already have this library on my computer. So portal base right here, new library, or I mean new window, or not new window, I guess this window. So I already have portal base here, and you can see I have what, Starship or something, I forgot the name of this thing, but it tells me some information about the get branch down here inside of my terminal. So this is PyCharm, Python IDE, if you're not familiar with it. So this is where I do most of my work on Python code, because it's got all kinds of very useful features built in for version control and databases and other things. Some of that we don't make use of with CircuitPython, but I do in my day job, and so I've been using PyCharm for a while, and it's just really nice, and I've gotten used to the way it all works. But it has a terminal built right into it, so I have access to a terminal right here, and you can see I've got this little terminal prompt program. Again, I think that's called Starship. I actually found this. Somebody recommended this on one of Scott's streams. I don't recall who it was, but whoever you were, thank you for recommending this thing. I started using it, and I think it's really cool. It shows me some information about the get branch. So you can see right now, actually, I'm already currently on Maker Melissa main. That's my current branch right here. I'm on Maker Melissa's repo, and I'm on the main branch, which is that where these changes are at. Let's take a look to the other browser. So these are, you can see right up here is where the changes for this PR live. So this is the PR page, and linked up at the top here, this is actually a link, so I could click on it, and that will take me directly to the specific repository and even the specific branch that this PR is coming from. And another cool thing about Git is it tells you right here, this branch is one commit ahead of Adafruit main, which is always a good clue if you are reviewing a PR. You know, whatever that branch of code is, it should definitely say that it is ahead of Adafruit main. It should be different than Adafruit main. Otherwise, there would not actually be a change in it. So we need to update this probably. So I'm already on Maker Melissa main, but I'm probably on an old one. I probably am on one from several days ago when I reviewed a different PR. So what I'm going to do to check out the new one is use this other tool, which I think also somebody recommended on one of Scott's streams, and I also started using it and think it's really cool, which is this GitHub CLI, which this is an official GitHub tool maybe? Yeah, it's on cli.github.com. So I guess this is probably an official tool. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see here. Okay, yep. And so this makes it super, super easy to get your local copy checked out to the exact same place that the PR is, because it has this command like this, ghpr, and then you can do checkout. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with this command line tool. ghpr checkout is the one that I'm going to use right now. So let me go back to PyCharm, and we need to know the number of the PR. So try to get used to using this other browser here. So we need to know the number. I think it was 10. Let's just double check and make sure though. Let's go back and let me make sure. Okay, everything's still looking good. Yes, it's number 10 listed right here. So you can find the number in a few places. You can find it at the end of the title right here. You can also find it in the address bar up here. So we are going to use that number to check out this branch of code. So in my terminal, I can say ghpr checkout 10, enter, and this will it will fetch Maker Melissa's remote, I think that's called maybe. So I'm fairly new to Git and version control. I spent a large portion of my career as a solo developer. So I'm fairly new to Git, although I will say over the past year or so contributing to CircuitPython, I've come a very, very long way. I have a much better understanding of it now than I did. But that being said, I'm not 100% sure on all the terminology of everything. So what this is going to do though, essentially it's going to fetch and update my local copy of Melissa's current version of the repo in the main branch, which is the one that Melissa made the PR from. So now my code that's stored on my computer here, that's visible in my PyCharm editor, it's now the exact same code that is on the PR. It's the code that Melissa wrote. Let's see. Hugo says yes, GH is an official tool, so that's awesome. Yeah, I can't remember. Somebody I think on Scott's stream recommended that, and I tried it out. It's really, really cool. Because it makes a bunch of these things that, like, you could totally do this with just Git, the Git command, but it's a much longer command. You have to do all kinds of different stuff, whereas this makes it super duper easy. So we want to test this code out, and basically we want to test out the things that changed, which are pretty much passing in secrets. So what we will do, I already have my PyPortal running here with this Bitcoin code on it. And this code, it needs to be able to access the internet in order to fetch the price of Bitcoin. This should work for testing this out. We can just modify the code a little bit to read some secrets information from somewhere else and then pass that into the constructor. And as long as that works and we fetch the value of Bitcoin correctly afterwards, then I think we know that the code from this PR is good. So let's work on that. The first thing we need to do before we forget is copy the modified code to the device, because this is the code that we would like to test. And if it's not on the device, then we cannot test it. So let me go one folder up, and we're going to copy this portal base. We're going to put it onto CircuitPy drive inside of lib, and I'm going to delete the one that's here now, just in case if there's like MPY files or regular PY files or whatever. We don't know what's inside there. I could go and look, but at the end of the day, it's just safer and it's easier if I just delete that entirely. And if you want to be super duper extra sure, you can even verify after you delete that now the code crashes. It has this error like import module, no module portal base, which is great. That's exactly what we want because now we deleted it. So we know for sure that portal base is definitely gone. And we know for sure that after we paste this one back in here, we'll be definitely 100% for sure using this modified code from our PR. So let's paste it in here. There we go. And if I go back to the camera, this thing will automatically reload. So obviously, you know, one of the things about CircuitPython is as soon as you change the files, as soon as you change any file that's stored on the CircuitPy drive, it will automatically rerun the code. So that's going to be running. We could check moo here if we wanted to get a look at the serial console. We could see there it says it's retrieving data. In a moment or two, it will eventually fetch its data successfully, hopefully, or maybe not. It might have an error and it might try to retry after a while, which that's looks like that's what happened there. Is it did get an error, so there's probably some kind of retry rate, like maybe once a minute or something like that in this code, which we could wait for if we wanted to. The other thing we could do though is inside of the REPL here, we can click in serial console. We can do Control C to break out of the code and go to the REPL. And we can do Control D to relaunch the code. And it will give it a chance to retry. Yeah, so, oh no, preloading. So yeah, there's loading some glyphs up. That's part of the text module. It's making it so that these characters are preloaded so that whenever you go to render them on the screen, they already are in memory and they don't have to, you don't have to wait for them to get loaded at the time that you try to show it. Looks like we had another error, none type in get, retrying, no network. So this is the name of one of my networks. I'll probably just try, just like David G was saying a minute ago, how we were talking about having multiple networks. I'll probably, a lot of times with the PyPortal, I find that it kind of goes back and forth. Like, I don't really know what's going on with it, but it goes through waves of like working pretty well on one network, but then all of a sudden it just doesn't want to connect as well. And I switch over to the other network and it starts working. I don't know. It may just be anecdotal. But sometimes I like to switch it up and sometimes it goes back to working a little better. Do I also do CircuitPython development from PyCharm? Yeah, I do pretty much all Python development from PyCharm. To the extent that I work on the core, which is not very much because I don't really know C. I've been programming for a long time, so I can look at lots of different languages of code, even if I'm not formally trained, and kind of follow along and tell what's going on. So I have made PRs in the core, very, very small ones. But even that, right, that's C code. You know, I totally did that change in PyCharm, even though it's not meant for that at all, right? It's supposed to be a PyCharm, it's supposed to be a Python development environment, but I use it for pretty much any project that has version control. Any project that's using Git, I use PyCharm for because it makes it very easy for me to manage Git. Oh yeah, Hugo has seen similar stuff on the MagTag where switching networks seems to help it along sometimes. Okay, so let's load up the actual code for this Bitcoin project here and see what this is doing. So we're importing PyPortal, and PyPortal is the library that would be making use of Portal Base, which is the library that we are looking at the PR for. So this is how we're using our modified code. It's happening inside the PyPortal library. And at this constructor right here, where we are calling PyPortal, PyPortal's init function right here, this is where we would want to pass our secrets. So let me see how I'm gonna do this. I think what I'll do is I will make a copy of my secrets file. Oh, hey, look, I see in the serial thing we were rebooting back there in the background, and I see there that it did successfully fetch the price this time. So just letting it retry on its own managed to get it, and then here's the screen where it's now showing the current price as well. So that's great. But we will want to edit this to use passing in the secrets dictionary. So what I'm going to do is, you can see actually I already have a copy of my secrets file, but what I'll do is make a new copy of it. So copy, paste, and then edit the name of this. And I will make this different secrets. Okay. And I will try to open this file off of the screen for just a moment. So open this file, different secrets, sort by name, different secrets. Okay, it opened on this screen, which is good. So you can see on the screen that you guys are able to see that example secrets file that we got from Adafruit.io, and on my other screen over here I've got my actual secrets file, or not my actual secrets file, but the copy of it that I just made, which is now called different secrets.py. And inside of it, it has a secrets dictionary, and it has my networks, and it has all of my stuff. So that's fine. Let me try one more thing, actually, because I don't know. I think we want to read from this and then pass it in after we read. Let me try one thing. So I'm going to make one more copy of this, actually. Different secrets. This one is going to be called test secrets. And I'm going to open this one, and I'm going to put bogus stuff inside of here. Whoops. Open. Test secrets. Okay. Delete this. Fake. Fake 2. Fake password. That's fine. Fake. 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 Save. Okay, sorry. Probably not very exciting. But let's open this now. I saved this. Save, yes. Okay, so I can open this here, show you what I did. CircuitPy test secrets. Now we have test secrets, and we're going to make use of the REPL. So one of the most, one of the great things about CircuitPython is the built-in REPL. You can just try your code right on the fly. So I'm not 100% positive exactly how we need to read this file and pass it as a parameter. I know we need to end up passing in this secrets dictionary. But I'm not 100% sure of the exact code we need to do it, so I'm going to use the REPL to figure that out. So back to mu, this is the mu code editor, mu. I'm going to go to serial. Whoops, serial was already open. So we're going to come down here in the REPL, Control C to get into the REPL. One thing we'll do maybe is update my version of CircuitPython. I see I'm on a fairly out of date one, couple of weeks at this point. I think we just made Dan maybe was just working on a release yesterday or the day before. So one thing we can do before we get too much farther along is update the version of CircuitPython. But for now, let's do this. In the REPL, I want to, let's do from test secrets, import secrets. And that should be my dictionary, I think, right? So if I do print secrets, it's going to print the dictionary with all the fixed stuff. Okay, so that looks good. So we so when we want to go and test this code, what we're going to do is import. We're going to import from different secrets, not test secrets, because test, all of this stuff is bogus. We're going to import from different secrets. We are importing specifically the dictionary that's inside there that's called secrets. And then we're going to pass that to the PyPortal initializer right here. Okay, so let's do that. From different secrets, import secrets. And then, so we have our dictionary. What's the name of the parameter? I think it's extra secrets or something like that. Let's just double check in the PR code. Secrets data is the name of that. So let's just copy paste that so that we don't typo or anything. Let me quick check on the chat here. Yep. Mag tag joke, main idea, multiple SSID is do not develop, so that we don't want to develop next to the fridge. Yep, but I want the mag tag to work on the fridge. The antenna is between the screen and the metal of the fridge, so it's not the best place. Yeah, that's true. I have a big metal front to the front of my fridge as well, so putting the mag tag on there, it does interrupt the network a little bit. That's true. And that's definitely one place where it'd be nice to have that. I mean, there is no, I don't know for sure. Maybe something inside of ESP32 SPI library. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure that there's really one main place where the connect happens. Like we have code inside a portal base right here where the connect is happening. And if we wanted to modify portal base to support a list for SSID, this would be one place we could do it. Although if we did it here, we would have to do it kind of like in a bunch of different libraries, really anywhere where they're connecting the network. I don't know, maybe there's somewhere, maybe there's something in the infrastructure where it could be done in one spot to where it checks for that string versus list, and it implements that logic to run through the lists. I don't know if there's a good place to do that that's kind of like a catch-all where it could be done once and just take effect everywhere. But it definitely could work inside of the libraries like this, like where we had the changes down here, def connect, where it's well, these are checking for change me, but right here where it's calling connect, you could add the logic right here for checking if it's a string or a list and looping through it. But I don't know for sure if it's the best place. Okay, let's go back to mu where we were. So we imported our secrets. We want to paste secrets data equals secrets. We need a comma right here, or else this will get mad. And one thing that I'm going to do is print something from secrets, or do I really need to do that? I guess I don't really need to do that. Yeah, I don't really need to do that. But one thing I am going to do, though, just to make sure that this is actually working, is I'm going to also rename my real secrets file to not secrets. That way, when the PyPortal, or really the portal base library, tries to import it, it won't actually get it. And therefore, it will know then that it's going to be using the one we pass in. So I changed my real secrets file to not secrets. So now I don't have an actual correct secrets file that's called secrets. I have one that's called different secrets that we'll use. I have one that's called test secrets that I used in the REPL right here. And I have one that's called not secrets that is my actual real one. Okay. Do we need anything else? I don't think we need anything else, really. Nothing comes to mind. So let's try this out. So we're going to save this code, and then we will break out of the REPL here and relaunch it just by using Control D. So Control D, and then I'll switch back to the camera. So we got an error, no module named secrets. One thing though is that the error we got, let's look in mu. The error we got is coming from, whoa. Oh, there we go. Okay. I never knew that could break out before. I've always just used that to make it bigger. The error we got is coming from PyPortal and Portal Base. So maybe we need the newest version of PyPortal also. Or the other possibility is maybe the PyPortal library assumes that secrets exists and therefore will not work like this for testing, in which case we can use maybe a different one of those libraries like Blinka PyPortal. But yes, definitely, whoever mentioned that in the chat, David, yes, we will update the libraries. And honestly, while we're at it, let's just update CircuitPython as well. So updating CircuitPython, let's go to circuitpython.org, downloads, PyPortal. We could get the latest stable. I pretty much tend to live life on the edge of the unstable here to test it out, and that way if we see anything wrong with it, we can report it, and that will help the project, get ready to move forward and release that as stable. So I tend to always go with the unstable one unless I happen to find a specific problem that is causing trouble for whatever I'm doing, and then I'll switch over to the stable one. So we got our UF2 here. We don't want to open it. We want to go to where it's at and copy it. So I got that copied. And then we'll go to, we need to reboot to bootloader mode. So let me do that. So just here, I'll pull the camera up maybe while I do that. Here we go. So there's on the back of the PyPortal here, there's the reset button. So, I know most of you guys who are watching probably very familiar with CircuitPython. You'll know the way to get to the bootloader is to double press this reset button. So I'm going to do that right now. And then you can see this NeoPixel, this status pixel right here. It turned red for a second and now it's green, which is usually an indicator that you are in the bootloader mode. So you can see there's nothing on the screen anymore. And the drive that's on my computer, it's no longer called CircuitPy, now it's called Portal Boot. And I'm just going to paste that UF2 file right onto there to update the version of CircuitPython. You can see in the camera, the lights will blink a little bit. Maybe I didn't get it flipped over fast enough, but the lights blink while it copies. And then that's it. And then you can verify when you're done two ways, actually. You can go to the REPL. So if you press Control-C like this, it will print the version right here. So we can see now we're definitely on the newest version that just came out yesterday. So that's great. The other way we can check is on the drive itself. It will create this file right here called boot out. And we can see in there that is also showing the same version as well. So that's good. So we're updated now. The other thing we'll do, just like David said, we're going to update the libraries next. So specifically the PyPortal library, and I'll probably update ESP32 SPI library. I don't know if that comes into it, but I know this device uses it, so we'll update that as well. So let's go, whoops, wrong folder, lib. Let me check preview. That's all still looking good. Yep, okay. So PyPortal, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm fairly paranoid when it comes to this, like files overriding stuff, and I end up sometimes with .mpy files and .py files. Like you can see right here, I have one of each. And so it gets confusing. You can really easily accidentally get yourself in a state where it seems like stuff is not working when it's really just using the wrong library. So I like to delete those things. So I deleted PyPortal. I'm going to delete ESP32 SPI. Whoops. I don't want to go inside of it. I want to delete it. That's probably it, I think, that we need to update. So let's grab those. I have this script that runs every day on my computer, and it downloads a copy of the bundle and it unzips it. So that's one way. That's how I'll get this library here. So I can just go inside lib. We're going to get ESP32 SPI, and we're going to get PyPortal. So I'm just going to select them both at once. copy those. The other way that I like to install libraries sometimes is with Circup. This time I'm just going to copy them over, but I do use Circup quite a bit as well. So that's a great tool as well. I'll show that one next time maybe. So we'll paste those. There's ESP32 SPI, there's PyPortal. So let's check back to Moo and relaunch the code. And maybe we can pull the camera also, and we still have the same error, which is saying that there's no module named secrets. So let's take a quick look at the code in the PyPortal library and just confirm that the issue is that the PyPortal library is importing that and not falling back. And if that's the case, then I do have a plan for how we can test this anyway. But let's just verify that first. So let's go to the PyPortal library. So I'm just going to say PyPortal CircuitPython GitHub. Hopefully that gets me there. I think it will. Yep. Okay. PyPortal, where is this coming from? init33 and network. So the init's probably importing network. And then network is probably the file we need to look at. From portalbase.network, import network base. Secrets content JSON content text. I don't think I've ever seen an import with parentheses like this. I guess, is this a, I guess it's a tuple, right? So, this is probably, I guess this is probably just a different syntax for importing multiple things from the same place. It is interesting though. I mean, it seems like this would be coming from Portal Base, which seems like it should now support what I'm trying to do. Let's look at the code in Portal Base too. Network line 48, network line 42. I'll just look in my IDE here because I still have this pulled up. So let's look at imports. There's no secrets here. We do import secrets here, but it catches. But it does still raise. But this is not the exception that we're getting, is it? It is. Wi-Fi settings are kept in CircuitPy. Please add them there. Secrets dictionary must contain SSID and password at a minimum. I think we can't. Let's just double check. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that my local copy, just like I was saying before, I'm pretty sure my local copy is all up to date with the code that is in the PR. But let's just work through some different assumptions and see if we can't figure out what's going on. So let's look at the assumption that that is true, that my local code matches what's in Melissa's. So let's click here. We clicked from the PR page to the branch that the PR is for. And let's look in Portal Base Network and just make sure it's the same, which it is. So we try to import secrets. If we failed, then we print this thing and then we raise. And because we raise right here, we don't get to move on and we don't get to use the secrets that came from the dictionary, I think. So let's test a theory. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that we actually need this not to raise right here. I don't think we want to raise this error. We can maybe print a warning if we want to still print a warning that says we were unable to import secrets from the secrets file. And we'll try to use the dictionary that was passed in. But I think we need it not to raise. So let's test that out by getting rid of raise. And I'll change this to, I don't know, we can let Melissa or somebody else decide if we actually, how we want to change the wording, I think. But I'll change it for now just to make it super clear when we read it. So this will say failed to import from secrets.py. Will try to use, what was the name of that parameter? Extra secrets? Secrets data. We'll try to use secrets data instead. Secrets data argument. Okay, so I took out the raise, I changed the print statement. Let's copy this code to the device and try it again. So portal base, I'm gonna get this in my file explorer here. Okay, I'm gonna go up one level though, files, portal base. We'll go over to CircuitPyLib, home CircuitPyLib right here. Again, I always delete, so I'm gonna delete the portal base. I'm gonna verify that I get a no import. Yep, that's good. I'm gonna paste the portal base. And then we'll come back to here. And this time it's different, so I think this is better. This time we still got an error that says we can't import secrets, but this is now only coming from inside the PyPortal library. It's no longer coming from inside the portal base library at all, which is good. I'm pretty sure that's what we want. So let me take one more look again at the PyPortal library, which is here, PyPortal network. Right, this was this code where it's importing this tuple. Importing secrets here. That's the weird thing. I would think, I don't know if there is something extra fancy about your secrets isn't called secrets. That's true, Hugo. Yeah, mine, I changed it. I do have one that's called test secrets, but that one's got bogus data inside of it. And then my one is actually called different secrets, which is the one that my script is making use of. So up in my imports here, I have different secrets. But I think that the intention is that all of this stuff should gracefully allow it to work like this. The only one I'm not actually sure of, I guess, is the PyPortal library itself. Personally, I kind of think it probably should work this way. That way, if people don't want to use the secrets.py file, they don't have to. Like, I personally try not to use the secrets.py file if I can, just because I don't like the way that it collides. I like to write code that I can use in Blinka Display.io as well as on CircuitPython microcontrollers. And because of that difference in secrets.py, that code doesn't carry over correctly. So I try to use different ones. So I think it'd be really great if this could support letting us use different ones. I don't really think that I understand how this import is working, where it's importing this tuple of things here. I guess this is a tuple. I don't know if this just means it's importing different things. And then what's weird about this is it says we're importing Adafruit portal base network and we're importing secrets. Which in our portal base, our secrets is now the dictionary. Well, we have network base. We have secrets data. Should it be underscore secrets? Because there is no self dot secrets property. So what would this have been importing before? When it says in the PyPortal library, when it says from Adafruit portal base .network import network base and secrets. Secrets is the one that I don't understand. Network base I think I get. Network base is a class inside of here. Right here, class network base. So that makes total sense. But then the secrets, would it be importing, when it says import this secrets right here, would it be getting this variable secrets? So when we say from secrets import secrets, so it's kind of like importing it secondhand through a different file. But we catch the import error here. So if we were coming through this code, then we should be catching that error and not re-raising it. So we are not coming through this code, I think, right? We printed our thing, so we did come through part of our code, because this is that print statement that we modified. And it says network line 29, which is this import line. So yeah, somehow the way that this is importing secrets right here is not working. But I would have thought the way that this was taking it from portal base, and the way that portal base now does not raise an exception here, okay, well, nothing is called secrets anymore. So if this fails and we go through the except block, then we don't have any variable called secrets. So what do we want to import? We can't import until after the constructor, because in the constructor is where we get past the secrets data. Yikes. Okay. This is good. I mean, this is the kind of thing that reviewing is good for. I will be real honest, I was expecting this to be a fairly straightforward one, like quick try it out, make sure the code looks good, and then approve it. But I think we are gonna have to make a change request here. I think for one thing, we need it to not raise. For sure we need it to not raise. And then I guess technically really maybe what we're running into is a potential issue on the PyPortal library side of things. Like the PyPortal library itself should probably get changed to support using that argument thing. So we want to be able to catch this and allow it to move forwards when secrets.py doesn't exist. But that's inside the PyPortal library, so it's not part of portal base. So I'm not sure, I don't think this PR is necessarily the right place for that feedback. Yeah, I agree, John F. Yeah, I think that's the case as well. Or, I mean, it can import it, but it needs to do this, basically, right? It needs to try to import it, and then if it fails, like gracefully allow you to move on and try to use the one from the dictionary that got passed as an argument. Okay. So because of that issue inside the PyPortal library, I think we definitely cannot use we definitely cannot use the PyPortal library and the PyPortal device to test out this PR for Portalbase. I think that we proved that at a bare minimum, we need to remove the raise that was right here. Like if I look at the differences, see, this is one of the other super nice things about PyCharm that I like is I can always go back and view my differences in this like side-by-side thing here. So it's really easy to see what I've done. So you can see here I removed that raise. And I'm almost positive that at a bare minimum inside this Portalbase PR, that's what we're going to need to do. So I think that's going to be our change request. But I would love to verify that it will still work once we make that change. I think, though, we just can't do that on a PyPortal due to the other assumption that's made in the PyPortal library, the way that it's also importing secrets directly. So what we will do to test this, I have another way in mind that we can test this. I'm going to go to one of my projects, this project called Blinka Display.io Pygame Display, new window. So this library, it's a library I made. It's published on GitHub. It's not in the community bundle because it's not like a microcontroller library. It doesn't work on microcontrollers. It's for Raspberry Pis and even PCs. Like I'm just going to be running it on my PC, and what it does is it creates a driver that looks like a display on the CircuitPython side. Like you set this up almost exactly like a board.display or any external display. You set it up the same way, but it's using Pygame under the hood, and it will draw a window, and then it will let Blinka Display.io draw things into that window for you. So really quickly, I'll show you the most basic probably example of this just to make sure this is all working as well. I'll run this. Okay, so here we have now our Pygame window. You probably recognize this if you've done anything on CircuitPython with custom displays and stuff. You probably recognize this simple test. It's used in a couple of different places. So we can see how that works. And I also have one here for the Bitcoin example. So let's take a look at what's in this. Same thing, we're setting up the Pygame display. So this code you'll recognize, right? This looks very similar to the code on the PyPortal, which is awesome because of the way that all the great work that Melissa has done in Blinka, and specifically Blinka Display.io, makes it so that we can share this code and have it look almost exactly the same. So one thing that you'll notice here is I here am actually importing a thing called secret credentials. So you can see that I actually ran into this problem in the past, and this is how I solved it last time, was I created a file called secret credentials, and I imported from there. So we see that we import PyPortal, we create PyPortal, we pass secrets here. So I think what happened is that this one would have been using Blinka PyPortal. So this all gets fairly confusing here. But because there's different versions of all of these things, Blinka, is it just called Blinka PyPortal? Nope, guessed wrong. One of these other ones I have, yeah, here it is, Adafruit Blinka PyPortal. So I'm pretty sure this one, okay, so two things about this one. This one, it does not currently, in this copy of the code that's right here that I'm looking at right now, this one is for Blinka Display.io, and it does not use the portal base. So this one hasn't been refactored yet to use the portal base. But the second PR, I had loaded up a second PR here to work on. And that second PR is exactly that. That is inside the Blinka PyPortal library, and it's refactoring it to make use of the portal base library. Which is exactly what we need in order to test our other PR. So what we're going to do is get the code for this PR also, which is an updated version of Blinka PyPortal. We can use that with my display.io Pygame screen. We can import the secrets the different way, and we can pass it into the initializer. And if all of that works, then I think it means the portal base change is good, at least with that raise removed. So we'll give that a try. So we need to get a copy of this code. So I'm just going to use GH tool again. I think I probably already have a copy of this locally. Adafruit Blinka PyPortal, yep. Let's go new window. And so you can see I'm on a branch here called Secrets Perimeter. I think I might have been the one that added this originally to the Blinka PyPortal library, and now it's getting refactored to use portal base, which is why this logic needed to move inside a portal base. But we want to change to that PR branch, so GHPR checkout, I think that was 19. Whoops, I keep clicking on the wrong browser. One of these times I'm going to get it down. Okay, 19, checkout. Which remote do we want to use? We want to use Adafruit's remote. Okay, so now we're on Maker Melissa master. So that is the name of the branch where this PR comes from. So this one, I'm going to take the code from PyPortal here, because this code now is making use of portal base. So you see here, this now says portal base. So we're going to use that to test our portal base change. So I took a copy of that thing. I'm going to paste a copy of it just alongside of here, because that's going to be the easiest way to test this, I think, is if I just paste a copy in here. So now I have Adafruit PyPortal right there, and again, that's the Blinka PyPortal. That's the one from our PR, which has been refactored now to use portal base. We need to put the portal base library here as well, because this code is going to need to import that. And the other thing we need to do is make sure that we don't have either the portal base or the PyPortal library, Blinka PyPortal, installed in pip. So because I've done a bunch of this stuff on my PC, I actually do have some of these things installed with pip. So we will uninstall them. It doesn't really matter what window I'm in, but I'll just do it in this one. Pip uninstall Adafruit Blinka PyPortal. Yes. And the portal base also we want to do. Okay. Which I don't know the name of this off the top of my head, so I usually end up copying from these readmes here. Pip uninstall that portal base. It's not installed. Okay, perfect. So now we can take that portal base from our edited one, and this is the one that's edited with the raise taken out. So we'll do that first, and then I'll put it back in to confirm that it's actually behaving how I think. But we'll take it edited first. I'm going to paste it alongside here. Sure. I'll add, although the truth is we don't really want to add those. Actually, I should have clicked no on that. We're not going to push anyway. And I'll go back and remove these. Actually, let me do it while I'm thinking about it. Is there, oh, there's not a remove in here. I'll have to use the command get rm cached or something. So I won't mess with it for right now, but I'll go back and remove those later. But we have them alongside of here, so our code will import from those. So that's good. We got our PyPortal Bitcoin. It's importing the modified Blinka library, which is using portal base, which is also here, which is using the thing that lets us pass in secrets. I actually already have secret credentials, which is set up. It's set up the exact same way as different secrets like I was just using on my device. But this one is stored on my PC, and it's just called this thing here. One thing I'm going to do is scoot over to the screen real quick and check the things that are inside of it. So that looks good. Okay, close that, bring this back. Yeah, and this pretty much works the same way. So it's saying from secret credentials, import secrets, and then it's passing secrets right here. Although the one difference is that this says secrets equals, and it needs to be secret data, secrets data. So let's change that. Actually, let's run it like this and see that it fails. This is, what is this from? This is, I think I need to uninstall Blinka when I run this also. Adafruit Blinka, the main Blinka project. I keep that installed because it helps make some of this other stuff work, but you don't actually need it for Blinka Display IO if you're not using a screen. Yeah, so yeah, huge caveat. You don't need it for Blinka Display IO if you're using like my Pygame thing where we're not having a real physical screen that's connected, you know, with wires and stuff. So what is PIP for this? Is just Adafruit Blinka. Let's make sure that's uninstalled. I'm pretty sure what's happening here is something in here is importing board. Oh, you know what's going to be the problem? This is importing board and it's not going to work because I don't have board, because I'm about to uninstall Blinka because Blinka gives me this error when I try to import board because my computer is not one of the devices that's actually supported by Blinka. The thing is, we don't really need board. I don't know, why does this even have board? Is it using board? It is using it. If you don't pass in an SPI, it uses it. And that's it. This feels like deja vu. I'm pretty sure I fixed this in Blinka PyPortal. Adafruit Blinka PyPortal. Nope, I still messed it up. Okay. Oh, Blinka PyPortal. Okay. Let me look at the current code. Because I just ran, I had all of this same exact trouble. Yeah. Oops. Hey, here's the, let's see. Can you guys see the, here is our friend. Come on, buddy. Why don't you look up at the camera here? Get some pets here. So I don't have a dedicated cat cam like Scott has yet. But this guy does like to be a bit of a house or a lap cat here, and he wants to play with my hoodie string. So I'll try to coax him over to this other chair. Come on, Tabby, buddy. Come on, buddy. There you go. So he's got, let's see if I can point to him here. He's got his own little chair. He hangs out right beside me to help me code right down here. So one of these days I'll maybe get another camera set up like Scott's got the cat cam going there so that we can see what he's doing when he's hanging out with us. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so I fixed this before. I ran into this exact same problem in this exact same setup trying to use my computer like this. So, you know, I know it's kind of a weird one-off thing. I don't know if too many other people have played with this thing yet. But I ran into this problem. I fixed it just like this. And that is what we are going to need to do if we want to be able to test this. So one thing we can do is on that second PR, one of the pieces of feedback that I'll leave is that I think we want to do this try catch of the import board. That way it can still work in environments like mine, even though it's kind of a weird one. So for now, I know though we're very far down the rabbit hole of changing things and trying things and stuff like that. But for now, what I will do is just reapply that exact same fix that I did before inside of this Blink of PyPortal. And so I'd made this variable, and then this variable does get set to true or false. If the display did not get passed and we did not import board, then raise an error because we don't have a screen to use. But if we did get past the display, then we don't need to bother trying to get board.spi. We don't need to do any of this stuff because the display is already set up that got passed to us. So I'm going to take this code. This is inside of init. So we're going to apply that fix as well. Boot screen. Where did it get SPI? Oh, okay, so there's an extra layer here because it does peripherals, which is in a different file. This has a check inside of here though for SPI none. Oh boy, we have gotten down the rabbit hole, haven't we? I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to wrap this up. But I'll work on it for a little bit longer here. So we definitely would want to get rid of that. What if we just try it like this? It will catch our board import. Yeah, let's just try it like this. Attribute error. Not implemented error. This needs to be an attribute error. Maybe the type of error changed from the last time I messed with this. Okay, yeah, that got us past. So the next problem we have is no module named fake requests. So that was another one of the modules that used to be all part of the PyPortal module, but now it's been broken apart. So that all these different modules can reuse it, and anytime it needs to get updated, it only gets updated in one spot. So that's really cool. But we do need to actually have a copy of it. Requests. So we can, I guess we could just install this with pip. That's probably the easiest thing. Terminal pip install. No. Network. Import NeoPixel. We're importing NeoPixel inside Wi-Fi, but we don't have NeoPixel, so that's not going to work. And then inside of NeoPixel, it's trying to import board again. And we're right back to board not supported. So we actually do have NeoPixel, but the problem is we can't import it because it tries to import board. So let's just try and then accept. Why is this one? So this one is a not implemented error, but the other one was an attribute error. But it's really basically the same thing. Getting closer. That got us past the NeoPixel one. This one has the not implemented again. I don't know if that changed. Does anybody know? If anybody knows in the chat, if there was a change recently to use different types of errors, attribute error instead of not implemented error, let me know. Nope. Peripherals. Okay, we still have one more of these. And then this one's back to not. No, this one's back to attribute. I don't think none of this. I think we're getting too far into the weeds here. I think this stuff's might not gonna actually work. I did all these fixes before, but it looks like they got changed or lost in the refactor. So I think a bunch of this stuff will have to get done again to be able to actually allow it to support a weird environment like I'm trying to run it on. Because like Blinka Display IO is a supported thing. So if I had a Raspberry Pi with a display plugged in, like using an SPI bus, that's one thing. And that's definitely supported. But the way I'm doing it here with Pygame, this is just an add-on thing that I made for it. It's not necessarily supported by Adafruit. So some of the code doesn't always work all the way with it. But I did update it to try to allow it to work. It just looks like some of those updates will need to get done again in the refactored version. We got one here. I don't know. Maybe we can just say if bored and it will ignore it and be all right. Let's try it one more time. No, we can't just say if bored, which is, I guess, why probably that I made a Boolean in those ones that I fixed where it could say like if Boolean something. I don't know what that is for sure. Okay, one more time. We're getting closer. It's staying launched for a second here. Yeah, it's trying to pass SPI, which we're not using. Make this none, maybe? So hopefully, I guess at this point, if my goal was to show you how easy it is to review, unfortunately at this point I'm a little lost in the weeds, and so you might get the idea that this is kind of a complex thing. So I don't I don't want to give you the wrong idea. It's definitely a very complex thing, right? Software in general is, and sometimes it does go off the rails a little bit like it has here. But there are times where it's not nearly so in depth, where you can kind of just do a quick review and see how things are going, test it out on your device and say, hey, yep, I tried this out, it worked good for me, or nope, I had a problem with it. So hopefully I haven't scared anybody too bad by going off the rails here a little bit, but I'll keep going a little bit longer. I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to work through it. I'm not going to be on for that much longer here, so I may have to cut it before I get this all the way worked out, but that's all right. Let's give this a try. Yeah, we do need to put a display. Okay, that's good. So I had commented this out. I guess I was probably testing to make sure that it broke properly. So that's actually a good sign. Let's uncomment that. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we are good. Now we've got, it's showing the background. It pulled, you can see that it correctly pulled the price there from the API it's using, I think CoinDesk or something. And so that is working finally. So let's just take one look back at what all is going on here. Yeah, that's true, David. It does, they get complex. And I think the reuse, oh, I gotta go shoo the cat away from something. I'll be right back. Get out of there, buddy. Come on. Okay. Back now, sorry about that. Yeah, that's definitely true. Those libraries, they make it super easy to do stuff on the PyPortal and the similar devices, Matrix Portal, MagTag, all of that stuff. But it does get kind of convoluted. I think though, with the refactor going on, overall things are getting better. The refactor is going to make this easier. It happens to be leading me down a rabbit hole right now, but I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I definitely think it is getting better with the refactor. One thing that I notice is that I never did change this from secrets to secret data. So it makes me think we're not using that new portal-based code. So let's just take a look inside of, again, this is Blinka PyPortal. And we can see here, this actually does still have secrets. So one thing that we'll want to leave for feedback on that PyPortal PR probably is that we can remove secrets from here. This is the one that I had added when I first started playing with Pygame Display. We want to remove it from here because now we're extending Portal Base, and Portal Base has it called secrets data. So right now I think both would work, right? So it worked when I did it this way. Whoops, secrets data. If it works this way, then the code from the PR is good. Again, pending the fact that I removed that raise. Let me close the old instance. One thing, while I'm looking at this Pygame display, one very minor difference between this and regular old CircuitPython scripts. Inside CircuitPython scripts, oftentimes you'll have a while true like this. Inside of Blinka display.io scripts, when you want to use this Pygame display library, you use this while display.running. Instead of while true, you use while display.running. And what that does is when you click the X right here, it allows the program to exit successfully. So you do while there, and then when you click that escape thing, this starts equating to false, and it lets that program end. So that's what that's all about, if anybody does look into this Pygame display thing. Okay, so I changed this to secrets data. We're going to run it again. Although after I say all of that, it does look like this was still running. So I'll do stop and rerun. Nope. And it got an unexpected keyword argument secrets data. So it's not successfully getting that. So we have portal base here, portal base dot network. Yeah, I could change it in I could change it in the PyPortal library here. I could change this to be secrets data, and that would work. I think that's what John F is saying. But I think what we want is we want to skip this one. I don't think we want to use this one at all. We want for it to try to use the one that's coming from Portal Base, which is the one that was in our PR. And I don't think we should... I don't think we want to have to change it inside of the PyPortal library, although I know I just got done changing a huge stack of things to get it to work. What does something in here use or extend? How does Portal Base come into the mix in this file? So we import Portal Base and we extend Portal Base. We are extending Portal Base. So if we are extending Portal Base, do we need a quargs? I think maybe we're missing like a quargs star or something like that. So we're accepting all these parameters. None of them are secrets data. One of them is secrets. When we call super init, okay, yeah, here's the problem. Well, here's one of the problems at least. Here's the next problem. When we call super init right here, we would be calling the portal base init, because we're extending portal base. Remember, if I go back up to class definition here, class PyPortal extends portal base. But when we call super init right here, we're not passing along the keyword arguments. So, oh, but this code has secrets data in the network? I'm all lost now. Secrets data is already in here, and this is using secrets, which is none by default and is none in our test case, which makes sense. So we need code in here that's like, if not, I mean, honestly, we need to not accept secrets anymore, truthfully, and just only accept secrets data, which we're already doing through our parent, I think. So what if this just said secrets data? But we're not getting secrets data. But the reason we're not getting secrets data is because we're not having the quargs thing right here. So you'll have to forgive me again. If you didn't catch the beginning of the stream, my background is definitely Java. I'm newer to Python, although I've come a long way. And I've seen this done before in the display text library. That's one of the libraries I actually have done a lot more work on than most of the others. So I have seen this done in there. It extends group and it passes along the keyword arguments. That way it's used for scale. So it's extending display IO group right here. And then at the end of the list of arguments right here, it has this star quargs. So this is some kind of mystical Python magic. I cannot probably claim to be able to tell you exactly how this thing works, but it's like a list, I think, that contains all the arguments that have names. And we want to accept it right here. We need a comma. We want to accept it right here because we want to be able to get that secrets data so that we'll be able to pass it along to the network initializer so that it goes into Portal Base and does all the stuff it's supposed to do. Let's see, what does John say? 99% we need to make secrets data an argument for PyPortal and pass it to super init. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I think that the way we have quargs like this, we'll make it to where we don't need it to be explicitly declared as an argument. And then the way, no, I'm wrong. You're probably right, because this is an unknown variable now. It would have to be like, I don't know how to look things up on Quarks. It would have to be like this, though. Maybe you can do that. It is interesting that it's not passing it to super here, which I would have thought it was, or I would have thought it would need to, which it may still need to. So you might be right there as well. Let's try it like this. Okay, that worked. Okay, and then so just to bring it all the way back around, because the one main change we made in the portal base library, I believe, really the only thing I changed was the raise. Well, and the print statement. I changed the print also. In network right here. So I'm going to verify that by going back to portal base here, checking my diff with git. Check my diff. Okay, so yes, the only things I changed are the stuff getting printed in that print message, and then I took out the raise right there. Let's just quick skim, make sure I didn't touch anything else. Okay, I did not. I'm going to take a new copy of this portal base, and we're going to paste that in over here and then run it, and it should fail the first time I run it because it's raising that exception. Oh, I just had another chance to click no on adding that stuff, and I blew it again. So now it's added. I need to remove it again. That's all right, though. That's all right. So let's run this. Close some of these things. Ooh, getting off the edge here a little bit, aren't I? There we go. It's not allowed to run in parallel. Stop and rerun. That's fine. There it goes. It's exceeded. Well, right, because I pasted it back in with my change in it. Yeah. So that was my edited code. But if we put that raise back, I'm in the wrong thing. There we go. If we put raise back, now it won't work. Correct? Yeah, it looks like my stop is not working either. I was saying how it has that display dot running. It seems like that might not be working. Yes, okay. So we got an import error because we cannot import the name secrets, and it did print this thing, which is our message. So we know our code is coming right through here, and we know this is not allowing it to move on. So for the portal base PR, I think the concrete feedback we have on that is that we need to get rid of the raise right here. And if we want to, we could reword some of the doc strings to be slightly more generic so that they don't specifically say that they're using a secrets file. I think those are the two pieces of feedback we have for that portal-based PR. So I will put that feedback in, and then I'll probably wrap this stream up afterwards. I'd planned to go for a couple hours, hour or two, and I don't know, actually. I'm not sure if this thing is keeping track of time for me somewhere. Yeah, it looks like I just passed the 2-hour mark, so getting up there. It's been a pretty good time. I hope anybody who checked this out enjoyed it. Again, if you want to see more stuff like this, or if you have ideas of videos of different stuff that you would like to see me cover in a similar kind of way as what I did today, feel free to ping me on the Discord or get a hold of me somewhere and let me know. But what I'll do to wrap it up here is I'll leave feedback on this PR. So if you're going to review PRs, the last thing you need to do is just let people know what you found, right? So we found that we need to get rid of arrays. We found that there's a couple spots where we could improve some wording, and then we found actually some issues in some other libraries where we could potentially go and make some issues inside GitHub for some other stuff, particularly the Blinka PyPortal library and possibly even the microcontroller PyPortal library, if we want to allow this stuff to work on there as well without the secrets.py file. So those are the things we got out of this. So let's put our review in here. The way that you share your review stuff is just by clicking this review changes here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to point to the section of code that needs to change, but one thing is that it's not showing it. So I can click this expand up here. It will show a bunch of more parts, but it won't let me make a comment at that section since it's not a section that changed. So if I go back down, or let me just refresh this a little bit. And if we look at some of these changes here, let's go back to the top. If I hover on these lines, you can see the blue plus right here. This is a really neat feature of reviewing PRs. You can click on this plus and it will let you leave a comment, and that comment gets associated with this line of the code. That way when other people are looking at the PR, it's like kind of right in line. It shows the code right there and then the comment right underneath it. I realize you can't see my hand signals, but so that's kind of nice, but the problem is it only lets you have this blue plus on lines that are around lines that change. So only the ones that are visible here. Because that raise is further up, I can't do that little trick. So what I will do is I'll grab a link to it instead. So I'll go view file, and this will let me look at the file. I can click on this line here, click these dots, copy a permanent link, and then I'll leave that link in my code here. So we want to request changes. So if we found that all these changes were good, we would click approve. Since we found something we want to change that we think needs to change, we're going to do a request changes. So, and then we just leave what we think is the case here. So I think this raise needs to get removed in order for the code to be able to run in environments without a secrets.py file. Tried to test with the Adafruit PyPortal library, but found that it will need some modifications in order to support the lack of secrets.py file if we want to use it like this. I ended up testing successfully after removing the raise. Using Adafruit Blinka PyPortal. And I'm going to say using Adafruit Blinka PyPortal library from the open refactoring PR. Let's fix my horrible spelling. Can do a preview here, which is nice. Although the dark mode makes it kind of hard to see, truthfully, I guess. Okay, so I said I think this raise, but then I didn't link to it yet, so I copied that URL, but I didn't link it. Let me also put this in code blocks there. Can link that line and check our preview again. I think the size is not so happy about this. Okay. Okay, I think this raise needs to get removed in order for the code to be able to run in environments without a secrets.py. Here's the link that goes to where the raise is at. That's good. I tried to test this with the Adafruit PyPortal library. Found it will need some modifications in order to support the lack of secrets py if we want to use it like this. I ended up testing these changes successfully after removing the raise using Adafruit Blinka PyPortal library from the open refactoring PR. Okay. Let's do one more last thing. The only other minor potential change I noticed is perhaps we want to make some of the doc string wordings a little bit more generic. Because a few of them refer specifically to a secrets py file. But this does not prevent the library from working. Okay, so we did that. That looks good. We want to request changes. We're going to submit that. Okay, boom, there's our review. It showed up now on the PR page. So the author of this PR, which was Maker Melissa in this case, they'll get a message through email or on their GitHub dashboard or something like that. They'll get a message that says somebody's reviewed the PR and asked for some changes to be made. And so Melissa can come by, take a look at this and see if I'm correct, if they, if we do actually need to make these changes, and if so, then they'll be able to make new commits like it says right down at the bottom here. So Melissa would be able to push new commits into this branch to make the further changes. In this case, again, removing raise and possibly changing those strings. And then once that's done, then they could either like re-request a review. So like you'll see here where it said, Maker Melissa requested a review from CircuitPython librarians. So after they make the change, they could re-request that review again, which would give a notice to anybody who's a CircuitPython librarian. And then, like I or any of the other librarians could come by, check out the new code, because there'll be, more commits down there if they get added. We could check out the new code and see if it's working correctly or if there's anything else that needs to get changed. Okay, so I think I'll pretty much wrap it up here. I had planned to look into the other, the PR that's in this Blinka PyPortal library, but I ran a little long looking at this one. We got down into the weeds a little bit there. And I'm ready to give my voice a break and get up and move around and stuff. So I'm going to cut it here for now. Thank you very much, those of you that joined me live and followed along and offered up ideas and things in the chat. I really appreciate anybody who checked it out. And again, I'll just reiterate, if you have any ideas for stuff you like to see in the future that I could do like this, definitely hit me up in Discord. But that's it for now. Thanks for checking it out. See you guys.